All right. I really like this movie. Um, I've never read any of the Dune books, but I know the basic story from the 1984 movie, which, despite being a mess, I still kind of enjoy. But this new movie obviously blows it away. Although it loses points for not having any pugs. There's a distinct lack of pugs in this movie. And I'm probably going to butcher his name, but it's directed by Denis Villeneuve. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, he's done some of the best sci-fi movies I've ever seen. I really liked Arrival, and I never thought there would be a good sequel to Blade Runner, but I really enjoyed Blade Runner 2049. So it's no surprise that I was into Dune. And some people might find it a little slow and boring, but I don't know what to tell you. It's not your typical pew 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 shit. I mean, if that's what you want to see, just look at anything else they're making these days. I mean, it's everywhere. And that's kind of what you realize when you watch a movie like this is that most of the other stuff they make today is even more mindless than you thought. It's like a baby's toy by comparison. And that's what's kind of frustrating is that, there's a lack of interest for this dude's movies. I mean, not to say there's no interest, but the other stuff they make is so much more shallow and less interesting for the most part. Obviously, there are exceptions, but, and Dune is a story that shows you can have a theme and a message without having to stop the movie in the middle of it in order to tell the audience exactly what it is. I mean, the last movie I watched before this was Halloween Kills, and if you've seen my video on that, you know what I'm talking about. It's a movie that pauses in the middle to hit you over the head with a message, and then continues to ignore that message with the rest of the movie. I mean, it's a joke. But with Dune, it's woven into the actual plot as it should be, and the movie looks amazing. The acting is really good. Well, the acting from the main characters is really good. There's some scenes from minor characters that are just have me wondering why they're behaving that way. I mean, maybe that's not an acting issue. Maybe I just missed something, but there's a character that basically has an emotional breakdown mid sentence for seemingly no reason, and then quickly recovers. I mean, it was kind of hilarious. Also, Duncan Idaho is a fucked up name for a character that is in a movie that's not supposed to be a parody. I just want to put that out there. And although I think it's better than the original in almost every way, I mean, look at these special effects. I mean, holy shit. These are the personal shields. And they look like they're wearing transparent aluminum on their head. It looks like they're wearing a see-through Gumby costume. So it's no surprise that the special effects are better in the new movie. Although I kind of like the sandworms from the original movie more. Something about CGI that it feels a little floaty. It feels like there's a lack of weight to it. And I think the original worms look more real because, they're really there. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I prefer the worms from the original movie. But if there's one big problem with it, it's that it's only one part. It's half a movie. And I know they just announced Dune 2, which is kind of amazing to me. I mean, they announced so many sequels and follow-ups to TV shows and movies before we even see the new thing. I mean, they're working on Star Trek Picard Season 3 right now, and no one has even seen Season 2 yet, because it doesn't matter what people think. I mean, and for Dune, they got to like test the waters to see if people will watch a second one. I don't know. I just don't get it. And the movie is complicated, and there's a lot of stuff that went over my head, but I think it's worth watching. It's hard to judge half a story, but if I had to give it a dick rock rating, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Definitely worth seeing. Hopefully part 2 will be just as good. Although, with the way things are these days, they'll probably get a new director, and we'll end up with some kind of Frankenstein monster. I mean, don't you hate when that happens? Anyway, That's all I got from that for now. Go sniff some spice melange and some herbs to go with it, and sit down and watch Dune.